Hey everybody, welcome to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and today we're asking the question, who is Rio? So, if you're caught up on Agatha all along, or even not, well, if you're not, the first part is still a valid question for you to ask. Who is Rio? Probably don't watch this video if you are not caught up, because I think there are a few different theories as to who this character might be. Aubrey Plaza, on, I believe it was an interview with one of the late night shows, basically said that there's more to Rio than you may expect. And, well, that the character is not just the character of Rio. So that begs the question, well, what does that even mean? Because is she playing two characters? Or, I think, more likely, she's playing somebody who she's not. So, she's not really Rio. Rio may be a persona that she puts on and uses around Agatha in the show, and yeah, but she's not really Rio, because Agatha does seem to recognize her as Rio. She recognizes her as this being. She doesn't call her out by a different name, anything like that, at any point in time. So, who could she potentially be? There are two theories that we talked about on this week's upcoming 10-minute Marvel episode. You can find that here on YouTube. It comes out tomorrow, like I was saying, on Tuesday. And on the channel, click on the podcast tab. That's where it's going to be, or wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. But the first option is the one that I laid out in my video last week. There was a reference to this idea of a black heart. Aubrey Plaza's Rio even says that she has a black heart. And then when Agatha and the team go to Lilia Calderu to recruit her for the Coven, she senses who the team is supposed to be, and that includes one last member who is simply signified by a black heart. Now, this could be metaphorical, in that she is someone who corrupted Agatha and led her down the wrong path into dark magic originally, which we see in WandaVision. We don't see who corrupted her, but we see that she is corrupted and that this dark magic is part of the reason why she's on trial. Or there's another option. There's literally a character called Blackheart. Blackheart is the offspring of Mephisto, and generally shown as male in the comics, but as an offspring of Mephisto who is just interested in death and destruction. Really in death, that I don't think there's anything that ties it in any way. In fact, I would argue that as a devil, it's going to present and show up however it needs in the given situation, because it wants to succeed on its goal of death. So, literally, if you take the black heart that Lilia Calderu drew, if you take the line that Aubrey Plaza's character said, it's very possible that we're getting our first super strong tie-in to Mephisto, and that she's playing Blackheart. But there was another name kind of tossed out there, this one by Greg on the podcast. He picked it up from Comics Explain, Rob, who does a great job kind of with these theories, but also a great, honestly, the best resource I found to really dig into the comics and have somebody who knows the whole history. But enough of my plug on that. He suggested that she could be playing Morgan Le Fay. So yes, Morgan Le Fay is a character in Marvel Comics, and she, as a character, fairly often kind of has that greenish look to her, but also is an antagonistic character, a character who has been around for a long time, like Agatha, a character who isn't afraid of dabbling in areas that she shouldn't, and that definitely would make sense if she's a character who, if Rio is actually Morgan Le Fay, she's a character who has done some questionable things, who is using Agatha, at least to some extent, to continue down that pathway. And I think that either of them could be intriguing. Now, I lean towards Blackheart. I lean towards there not being super clever with it, because for your average fan, not the people watching this channel, or New Rockstars, Screen Crush, all these different channels, but for your average fan who likes Marvel stuff and is just watching the shows, or going to be binge watching the show later, they're not going to spend the time to look into Blackheart. They're not going to spend the time to look into that particular character. They may piece the two and two together of like, oh, there was a Blackheart on the list that gets referenced, and Aubrey Plaza in the previous episode said that her character had a black heart. So, oh, maybe it's those two. Maybe those two were supposed to be the character, or connect together, and Aubrey Plaza's Rio is supposed to be the fifth member of the Coven. What they're not going to do, like I said, is they're not going to put the time in to look and see, is there a character that she's supposed to be playing additionally. In fact, I don't think you would even think that. I think it would just feel like that's a reference. But because of what Aubrey Plaza said, and then Scooper DaneilRPK followed up with replying to a tweet that had that quote of basically, she's playing Rio and another character, that now we have to question who that other character may be. And right now, I do like the idea that either Blackheart or Morgan Le Fay, because of just kind of the fame of Morgan Le Fay, are the two options. So, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Who would you find more interesting for Aubrey Plaza's Rio to be as well? If it's going to be a comic book character, because I think I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but Rio is not a comic book character. This is a character created for the show. So if she actually is a comic book character, and like the teen, they're hiding it from us, who is she gonna be? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this content, please subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. We're doing all sorts of theory videos, as well as then comic book videos, comic book collection videos, and Marvel trading card openings, all sorts of different things. You can find them all here on the channel, and if you want to check out our podcast, it's 10 Minute Marvel, same as this channel name. You can find it here on YouTube, like I said before. Click onto the channel and then onto the podcast tab, or you can find the podcast wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. But with that, see you next time.